Welcome back. For today's Business Matters, we have Don Ma here with us. Don, what's happening today?
Yeah, so let me start off right away with this. Doing well today, Chris. Jobless claims inched up in the first week of September, according to a U.S. Department of Labor report released today. New jobless claims rose by 2,000 in the week ending September 7th. That brought the total number of new jobless claims for that week to 230,000. But while new jobless claims were up, the number of continuing claims fell. So during the first week of September, there were over 43,000 fewer continuing claims compared to the week before. The Department of Labor says the data shows that layoffs are not ramping up significantly even as the labor market cools. And shoppers are hungry for savings. Kroger is raising its annual sales forecast. Its efforts to offer lower prices has drawn in people looking for a deal. The grocery giant raised the lower end of its forecast. Its CEO said that cost-conscious consumers are stocking up on essentials at the beginning of the month. Kroger is waiting on federal regulators to review a mega merger with rival Albertsons. Kroger says that would lower grocery prices. Another restaurant chain has been added to the growing list of bankruptcy filings. Florida-based BurgerFi International has filed for Chapter 11. The company says that all corporate locations will operate normally during the process. That includes its Anthony's coal-fired pizza restaurants. Franchise-owned locations are exempt from the filing. BurgerFi says it's been hurt by higher wages and food prices, including more expensive chicken wings. Now, Boeing facing a looming strike here. Union workers have started voting on a highly criticized new contract. The company is already under intense scrutiny by federal regulators and has mounting debt nearing $60 billion. A strike could start as early as tomorrow. Boeing's newly appointed CEO is urging employees not to strike and to secure a future together. Workers in the Pacific Northwest are voting on a 25% pay increase over 4 years, which is far from the 40% the union was fighting for. An investment bank estimates a 50-day strike could cost Boeing $3 billion. And S&P Global Ratings said an extended strike could hurt the company's overall rating. The next president's tax policies could play a significant role in how Wall Street fares. We look at the proposals of presidential nominees Kamala Harris and Donald Trump and their potential impact on markets. Take a look.
With a neck-and-neck presidential election 2 months away, money managers like Summit Place Advisors president and founder Liz Miller expect more turbulence for stocks.
From now, early September through the election, I won't be surprised if we continue to see volatility. We know that October is often a worrisome month, and this year just will add to that because we're going right into the final days of the election. This election continues to look like it's a very close election, and so that just adds to Wall Street uncertainty.
As far as what happens after that, tax policy has emerged as a key focus.
A reduction in the corporate tax rate from 21% to 15% solely for companies that make their product in America.
That's one part of Republican candidate Donald Trump's plan, which Infrastructure Capital Advisors CEO Jay Hatfield likes.
Trump could be better for the economy for really two reasons. First, tax policy. He's trying to cut corporate taxes, which is very positive for earnings and stocks. It's not going to increase the capital gains tax. And he's likely to deregulate a lot of industries, so like energy and banking. So at the margin, he would be positive for stocks.
We will pass a middle-class tax cut that will benefit more than 100 million Americans.
Harris wants to give the middle class a break while raising corporate taxes. Goldman Sachs analyst said in a note that her plan would cut earnings at S&P 500 companies by 5%, while Trump's proposal would boost them about 4%, though the bank said the economy would fare better overall if Harris won, as new government spending would offset the impact of higher corporate taxes. The Democratic presidential candidate also has proposed raising the capital gains tax. Morgan Stanley said in a note that the correlation between capital gains taxes and stock market performance is statistically insignificant, but the tax debate could lead to some volatility. Regardless of what the candidates propose on taxes, the winner will face a major decision because of the expiration next year of tax cuts signed into law by former President Trump.
The 2017 Tax Cuts and Jobs Act expires at the end of 2025. And this is part of the reason both candidates are talking a lot about taxes. Congress is going to have to decide what to do, whether to change that act or renew it. And it sort of doesn't matter as much what the presidential candidates say as much as what Congress decides.
And who controls Congress will play a significant role in how this plays out, and potentially how the market does overall.
What's really most important for a positive outcome is to have Congress different than the president. So if we have a Republican president and we have a Democratic Congress, Wall Street has traditionally done very well. Likewise, with a Democratic president and a Republican Congress, markets have done very well. When a single party dominates both Congress and the president, the markets have not done well historically.
Right now, the battle for control of Congress is as tight as the race for the White House.
Meanwhile, American companies saw record low profits in China last year. This is based on a survey by the American Chamber of Commerce in Shanghai. Less than half of businesses are optimistic about the next 5 years. The company said the top challenge was geopolitical tensions between the U.S. and China. On top of that, companies are concerned about China's slowing growth. A record number high of companies cut their investments last year. The Chamber of Commerce said that many businesses are now directing their investments to other regions, like Vietnam, for example. The report came a day after the European Union Chamber of Commerce in China published its report, which shared similar sentiments. And new data shows the median household income in Seattle is at an all-time high, around $121,000. This is census data. Seattle ranked as the third highest median household income, that's after San Francisco and San Jose. Incomes between $50,000 and just under $100,000 are considered middle class for most Americans. In Seattle, San Francisco, San Jose, Boston, and Washington, D.C., a greater number of households in the cities fell into a higher category, making $200,000 or more last year. The data also noted that a higher cost of living in those cities. Now, a group of astronauts made history today. They're the first ever all-civilian crew to complete a spacewalk, leaving their ship only with their spacesuits to protect them. Here's the historic footage.
Our commander, Jared Isaacman, now turning the crank.
4 astronauts made history today. They are the first all-civilian team to enter the vacuum of space. It was part of SpaceX's Polaris Dawn mission. Billionaire Jared Isaacman, who funded the mission, was the first to ascend.
This helmet cam, that structure we see is the spacewalker.
Leading to this historic view.
Good call.
One reason for the spacewalk was to test the spacesuits. SpaceX will use the tests to improve the suits and possibly use them for future missions on Mars. Out in space, the only protection astronauts have is their suits. Oxygen is pumped into the entire outfit. This creates a complete life support system. This gives them the ability to breathe and creates a pressurized environment that protects their bodies. All the oxygen has to be pumped out of the entire ship because there's no airlock. So every astronaut needs air in their suits, even if they're not going out. After testing out the suit, Isaacman returned to the ship. SpaceX engineer Sarah Gillis was the second and last to enter space. The 5-day Polaris Dawn mission is expected to end on Sunday, September 15th. Its goal is to prepare for the human colonization of Mars.
So Elon Musk is sending business owners to space, but did you know he's also helping them do laundry out of the back of a truck? A cyber truck, that is. NTD Sean Marshall has the details.
Actually, this is insane right now.
Some business owners are using their cyber trucks to promote their business.
While we're driving, we see a lot of smiley faces.
The cyber truck owner went so viral, he had to change his phone number.
So basically, the most of the attention I got when the Elon Musk shared my tweet on X. And this is when it went so bad for me.
He was getting too many phone calls from fans.
because they were just started to look for my business just to see if it exists or whatever, and that's what basically ate all my money.
Vladimir says he's still trying to think of ways to top his original viral sensation. He might add a washer-dryer combo. The Cybertruck has a power source, so businesses can offer services on the move. Another Cybertruck owner makes his popular New Jersey thin crust pizza for private events right next to the golf course. He's worked his way up from a coffee farm in Colombia to a Jeep on the streets of New York City to the Columbia Inn restaurant in New Jersey. His new business idea is getting attention online. He says if he can figure out how to put a sink and running water in the truck, he could serve food to even more people. Sean Marshall, NTD News.
And it looks like customers are loving McDonald's $5 meal so much that the fast food giant is keeping it on the menu until December. The $5 meal deal launched in June as a one-month gimmick, but it quickly turned into a much longer promotion. The meal features either a McChicken sandwich or a McDouble cheeseburger, small fries, 4-piece chicken McNuggets, and a small drink. McDonald's has seen a dent in sales as inflation-weary customers hold tight to their money. So green eyes smiling down on Wall Street today. Markets continue their rebound after last week's stutter. Today, the Dow Jones ended up 0.6%, S&P up 0.75%, and the Nasdaq up exactly 1% today. So also a good day for Warner Brothers, up 10%. The media giant just renewed its distribution deal with Charter. And with that, all the stories on today's Business Matters. Chris, Fiona?
The first time I ever saw a Cybertruck, I was almost shocked because they're so massive and they have such a strange shape.
Yeah, but they're massive, but their back wheels can also turn in addition to the front wheels. So if you're making parallel parking or making a sharp turn, I think it would help with that.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And I guess it's like it's fully self-driving, except it has to be supervised. So it's not actually self-driving in one sense. I'm sure there's some battles over how to term this thing, but you can't just take a nap while you're driving.
Yeah, but I mean, I think apart from all the cool technical aspects of it, just the appearance of the Cybertruck is so out of the ordinary, I guess, to what we expect of a car. So I think it's really smart that these business owners are doing this because, every time I see a Cybertruck, or I am with a friend who sees a Cybertruck, we invariably always stop and we point and we take a photo.
Oh, it's a Cybertruck.
Yes.
Yeah.
So when a business is doing that, not only are they, they're getting photos, people are taking photos of their Cybertruck, but they're also taking photos of their business. So I think it's a very smart model, actually.
Yeah, I agree with that. Definitely a head turner.
Maybe NTD needs a Cybertruck.
with our logo on it.
That's right. Don, thank you.